my name's Erica.
I'm Petra. We're both part of the St. James Town Community Co-op. I've been with the co-op for about 8 years. I have always been focusing on food. I'm a chef. We're presently working on a project with emergency food preparedness for the future when the food system fails us, and we're going to be doing a series of videos that help people prepare, learn, and feed themselves.
I am a nutrition and food science graduate, and my background is also in food. So I have done a lot of work as a chef, and I am a professional baker. And right now I'm working with the St. James Town Community Co-operative with this emergency preparedness food plan to bring knowledge and education to people about how to find healthy and accessible food and grow their own food. So today we'll be talking about the world of sprouting and how it's such an accessible way to get started when it comes to growing your own food at home that's healthy and nutritious and full of color and flavor.
So we're in the kitchen now and we're going to do show what we've prepared. Our original inspiration was when I first saw a video by Doug Evans, and he was being interviewed on the Rich Roll podcast. And Doug Evans came on and shared how he really got into sprouting, sort of accidentally finding himself in the Mojave Desert, in a food desert, where he wasn't willing to drive a couple hours to get food. So it's very accessible to anyone if we're going to go into where you get your sprouts, the kind of sprouts you want to get, and just having some on hand. I've had these sprouts for quite a few years, and every once in a while I will make a batch of these. So they keep a long time. It's very affordable, and we're going to go into it being more of a nutritionist kind of way of eating now as well.
So why sprout, you might ask? Well, there's a lot of different reasons to sprout. First of all, it's really easy and accessible. If you've ever wanted to grow your own food, sprouting is a great way to get started. It can only take a matter of days in order to grow something that comes to life, like these examples we have here. Another reason is it's really affordable. You can usually use a lot of different dried goods that have long storage life that you already have at home. So this could be dried legumes like lentils or garbanzo beans, but there's endless opportunities when it comes to sprouting. There's also endless health benefits. So by sprouting, we're really creating our own vegetables at home. We're bringing these seeds to life. And by bringing them to life, we're also activating all of these nutrients that we're able to put into our body and access better than we would if the sprouts were dormant in the seed form. So sprouting also increases food supply. So if we take a tablespoon of seeds, then it might become a full cup of something so nutrient dense that we can add so many different things. So sprouts are very versatile. They can be included in so many recipes, which we'll demonstrate later on. And also it's a great educational tool. It's a great way to bring people together to explore your food, and it's accessible for all generations, all age levels. Sprouting also requires very little equipment, so it's really easy to get started, and I will encourage you to do so at home. So next we're going to talk about the materials that you need to get started. And believe it or not, it's really simple. You may even have a lot of these materials already at home. So there's 4 things that you need in order to sprout. The first is whatever seed or legume or grain that you decide to sprout. So there's a huge variety and you can really experiment. So here are some basic examples of things that you can sprout. We have a mixture of red clover seeds. We have dried mung bean, and we also have dried green lentils. So these are examples, but the world of sprouting is really endless. So there's thousands of things that you could try and sprout at home. The most important thing is to make sure whatever you are sprouting is food safe. The second thing you'll need is a vessel. So today we'll be discussing sprouting using the glass jar method. So you could use mason jars or any kind of glass jar that you might have at home. But usually if it's the size of a liter mason jar or bigger, that's what you'll need, because you'll notice that your sprouts will expand quite a bit. So you want to give them space to grow. Third, you'll need a sieve or something to cover your sprouts, because part of the method is soaking them in water and being able to rinse them continuously. So depending on the size of the sprout, you'll have to make sure that you're considerate of how thick or thin your mesh screening is. So in these methods used here, we've used a lot of cheesecloth. And cheesecloth is something that's very inexpensive. You can find it in most grocery stores or dollar stores. And it comes usually in a big amount, and you can cut them and you can wrap them a little bit on top of each other so the holes are not as big. And you can use that fastened with a rubber band or the ring of a mason jar lid in order to make sure that you can create this kind of seal that your sprouts won't fall through when you go to rinse them. The last ingredient that you need in order to get started is clean water. So this can be tap water, as long as your water is clean source that you would drink or use on your food, then you're good to go. So before we get started, it's very important to make sure that your equipment is sanitized. So this is easy to do. Just hot soap and any kind of dish soap that you would usually use on your dishes. So once you're sanitized, then in order to start sprouting, you'll need to soak your seeds or your legume or your grain. So today we're going to demonstrate using red clover seeds. And this brand, Mums, is very affordable and can be found in most grocery stores. I believe for a bag of sprouting seeds like this, it's around $2. This bag would probably last you a month or two, even if you're eating a lot of sprouts at home. You can soak a tablespoon up to half a cup of whatever it is that you'd like to sprout. So today we'll start with a tablespoon. Then you're going to cover them with some water, and like I mentioned, make sure this is water that you would drink. And then we'll cover the jar and tightly secure it with a rubber band. Now these seeds need to soak. So ideally you'll let the seeds soak for 8-hour period. So it's great if you just leave them overnight and then you start in the morning. But after they've soaked, you'll drain all of the water out. Then you're going to start to rinse your seeds. So every day you'll want to rinse your seeds 2 to 4 times. 2 times minimum, and the more the merrier. You'll continue to submerge the seeds in water and drain the water out, leaving them dry. And then at this point, every single day you'll see them start to grow. So little tiny sprouts will start to form at the bottom of the seed, and they'll grow the more that you rinse and drain them. So when you drain the seeds, just make sure you try and shake out as much water as possible so they are as dry as they can be. These sprouts were started 2 days ago, and these are the same variety, the red clover. After 2 days, they've started to grow these tiny little green leaves. So these sprouts are ready to eat. And then once your sprouts are ready to eat, then you'll have to store them. So ideally, you would take the sprouts and you would dry them as well as you can. So you can use a salad spinner, or you can use brown towel or a clean dishcloth, and you'll pat them dry to make sure that there's no water. And then they can be stored in a sealed container in your fridge for up to a week.
So I'm just going to go over a couple of other methods of ways to sprout. 4 different methods are: you can do it in a jar, as we went over. You can do it in a tray, also in a terracotta plate like these chia seeds, because they get quite gelatinous. And there's the paper towel method, or this is a piece of brown paper where you spread them in here, wet the paper. You would wet your seeds like this and just fold this over, and it'll start sprouting in there. So it just depends on the amount you want to be sprouting at once, and the ease. And the idea is to make it as easy as possible for yourself. When I do my sunflower sprouts, I take whole black sunflower seeds and I plant them in some fertile soil. And a small tray just needs about an inch of soil. So I just sprinkle them in loosely and then water it, and within 2 or 3 days you'll see them sprouting right away. And you only get one grow out of them, so once you cut them you have to reseed. And this tray could be much more plentiful. This is like the ones that are coming up late on this tray. So that's about it. So we have it all listed below the video, your different options.
So we've prepared some dishes so you can see the versatilities of sprouts. And all of these recipes will be shared on the St. James Town Co-operative website, and we'll link to the recipes below the video. So first, I wanted to do something a little bit different that you maybe would not have thought of when it comes to sprouting. So I made this simple breakfast bowl, and this is using sprouted buckwheats and chia seeds, which can be sprouted or not, but it's very simple and it can be prepared overnight to be eaten in the morning. This mixture has some coconut milk in it, and this is really versatile, so you could really use any fresh fruit or dried fruit you have at home. You can include any kind of toppings you'd like, but we'll go into more details in the recipes that you'll find linked to this video. Second, we've prepared a very delicious salad. This salad is using cucumber, and it's with the mung beans that have been sprouting for a few days now. I think these have been sprouting for 3 days, and they've grown about 10 times in size. So we made this delicious salad with radish and cucumber and mung beans that has quite a bit of protein in it, and it's a great option for lunch. Lastly, we have this beautiful minestrone, or lentil and vegetable soup. So this soup has lentils in it, and you can think at home you probably have cooked with lentils, maybe use them in curry dishes or different kinds of soups, and you could really sprout any of these legumes and add them to these traditional meals that you may usually bake. So I've added these sprouted lentils into the lentil soup, and you could also add them to a dal or any other type of dish that you may use these beans otherwise not sprouted, and it will just increase the nutrient content.
Looks great, Erica. Can I try some of the salad?
Oh, please.
And will you join me with some of the lentil soup?
I would love to.
This is great. And these were so easy to make, weren't
Yeah.
they? So I'm just wondering what's next in our series, Erica?
So next in our series, we're going to talk about lactic fermentation. So some of you may know of certain types of food like sauerkraut or kimchi, but we're going to talk about how you can ferment your own vegetables at home and preserve them long term, which is very exciting and very delicious.
Stay tuned.
Can't wait. Stay tuned.